Have you ever seen someone do something in public that made you instantly uncomfortable? Not because it was illegal, but because it just showed a lack of awareness? Public spaces are shared spaces, and how we act in them says a lot about who we are. The truth is, people remember how you make them feel more than what you say, and sometimes what we do in public can quietly damage our reputation, our credibility, or even our relationships. So today, let's talk about the 5 things you should never do in public if you want to be respected, trusted, and taken seriously. Never argue loudly in public because no matter how right you think you are, the moment your voice rises, your credibility drops. When you raise your voice, people stop hearing your words and start reacting to your tone. It shifts the focus from the issue to the performance, and suddenly it's not about solving a problem. It's about who can outshout the other. Public arguments are emotional explosions that leave behind social debris, the kind that sticks to how people see you long after the moment passes. You might feel justified in the heat of the argument, but bystanders don't know your side. They only see chaos. And what they'll remember isn't your reasoning, but your lack of control. A calm person in a heated situation always holds the power because composure signals strength. It shows that you can handle tension without letting it handle you. When you stay calm, you protect not only your image, but your peace. You turn what could have been a scene into a moment of self-mastery. So the next time you feel your temper rising, pause, take a breath, walk away if you must, because sometimes silence in public speaks louder than any argument ever could. Never overshare personal problems in public because vulnerability without boundaries isn't strength, it's exposure. There's a fine line between being open and being careless with your emotions, and crossing that line often makes people uncomfortable rather than connected. When you share every detail of your struggles in a cafe, on social media, or in a group of acquaintances, it doesn't invite empathy, it invites judgment. People start forming opinions not about your situation, but about your stability, your discretion, your self-awareness. True emotional intelligence means knowing when, where, and with whom to share your inner world. Your pain, your stress, your private challenges deserve a safe space, not a public stage. When you talk too much about your hardships in front of those who haven't earned your trust, you give away parts of yourself that can be misunderstood or misused. Emotional control isn't about hiding. It's about choosing wisely. It's about protecting your dignity while still being real. The most respected people aren't the ones who spill their emotions everywhere. They're the ones who know how to stay composed even when life isn't. So the next time you feel tempted to open up to whoever's nearby, remember, your story deserves to be heard, but only by those who've earned the right to listen. Never mock or judge others in public because the way you treat people who can do nothing for you reveals everything about your character. When you laugh at someone's expense, even if you call it just a joke, it says less about them and everything about you. Public spaces are silent observers of who we really are when we think no one's keeping score, and every cruel remark, every eye roll, every whisper about someone's flaws builds a quiet record in the minds of those watching. People may not confront you, but they take mental notes. They remember how you made someone else feel small. Mocking others might make you seem witty for a second, but it makes you unkind forever in their memory. The truth is, judgment is often a mask for insecurity. We put others down to feel a little taller ourselves. But real confidence doesn't need comparison. It shows up as respect, kindness, and restraint. When you treat every person with dignity, regardless of status, appearance, or mistakes, you elevate yourself without saying a word. So the next time you feel the urge to criticize someone publicly, stop and ask yourself, what does this say about me? Because the world doesn't remember the one who pointed out flaws, it remembers the one who rose above them. Never record people without their consent, because trust is built on respect, not surveillance. When you point a camera at someone without asking, you strip away their right to control how they are seen, and that's a violation deeper than most people realize. In today's world, where everything can go viral in seconds, recording someone without permission isn't just rude, it's reckless. You might think it's harmless or funny, but to the person being filmed, it can feel like betrayal, exposure, or humiliation. Once something is posted, it can't be undone, and no apology can erase that digital footprint. Respect means giving people the choice to be seen on their terms, not yours. The way you handle other people's privacy reflects your integrity more than your intentions. A person with emotional maturity understands that just because you can record something doesn't mean you should. Some moments aren't yours to capture, they're yours to respect. When you resist the urge to record or share, you show that you value people more than attention, and that simple restraint builds a reputation stronger than any viral clip ever could. Never ignore basic etiquette in public because manners are the invisible language of respect that everyone understands, no matter where you are. Saying please, thank you, or holding a door might seem small, but these actions quietly communicate who you are long before you speak. When you ignore those small courtesies, people don't see confidence, they see carelessness. Basic etiquette isn't about pretending to be perfect. It's about showing awareness of the space you share with others, talking loudly on your phone, cutting in line, leaving a mess behind. These things may seem harmless in the moment, but they leave an impression that lasts longer than you think. The truth is, respect is rarely about grand gestures. It's shown in the everyday details of how you move through the world. When you show manners, you're not being old-fashioned, you're being intentional. You're choosing to make others feel seen, valued, and comfortable. And in a world that often feels rushed and self-centered, that choice stands out. The people who master etiquette aren't trying to impress anyone. They're simply consistent in their kindness. So remember, how you behave when no one's watching says more about your character than how you perform when everyone is.